Hello everybody, welcome to the Joel Homie Show, where today I review LEGO Star Wars Set 75-266, the Sith Troopers Battle Pack with 105 pieces. Hey, you there! I want to remind everybody that if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. And right now, YouTube says that over 90% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so it would really help, and with that... Hello everybody, I'm Joel Homie, your guys' host for today's video, where today I'm going to be reviewing LEGO Star Wars Set 75-266, the Sith Troopers Battle Pack with 105 pieces recommended for ages 6 and up. So today's video will be starting with a box overview, and then a unboxing, and then I'll show the amount of steps in the instruction manual, as well as the rest of the contents in the box, and then we'll go through a time-lapse speed build, and towards the end of the video, we'll take a look at the completed product once it is built. So let's go ahead and start today's video with a box overview. Of course, starting at the front. So as usual, off to the left-hand side, we have our set information, which in particular, this specific set actually has some stickers overlaying the original print. I'm not exactly sure as to the original reasoning as to why that was done, but either way, it is a bit of an interesting thing that you could find on some of these boxes and some other sets in particular. And then on the back of the box, we don't have any of the stickers, but we do have some more visuals here of the set, which is very nice. As you can see here, we have some of the troopers as well as the main build. And then on the front, mind you, we do have a nice visual there in the center with some of the theming off to the top and the bottom. And then for the top, bottom, and right and left side of the box, I'll do a pause and read segment. So here is the top of the box. We'll have it the wrong way around there with our actual size off to the right hand side there. And once again, another one of those stickers that was added after the fact. And then here is the bottom of the box with once again what would usually be your proof of purchase, but that is actually added on the sticker once again there. Here is the right side of the box. And here is the left side of the box. And then to open the package, all you actually need to do is get to the back of the box where you can find one of those thumb tabs, and you can just simply punch that in, of which I'm going to try to do carefully because once again this box is semi-special due to the little sort of stickers that it has. But either way, once you have that done, you can simply just pull out the contents, and it looks like we actually have a separate plate and our instruction manual, and it looks like we have two bags here. These are not labeled. These are presumably just both bag 1, and then we have a 4x plate, I presume. I don't actually think that's a 4x, I believe, 10 maybe? I'm not sure. But either way, here is our instruction manual, which is reasonably small, understandably so, with the size of the box. But either way, it looks like the total amount of steps for today's set is going to come out to a grand total of about 26 when we finish the main build there, and we can install all of the figures. But anyway, with that being said, enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and get into a time-lapse speed build and see how this Sith Trooper Battle Pack turns out in the end. Right then, and with that, here we are with the completed LEGO Star Wars Set 75-266, the Sith Troopers Battle Pack with 105 pieces, recommended for ages 6 and up. So the set does have 4 figures, and since it is a battle pack, and then it also comes with the Snowspeeder, so I'll go ahead and start with an overview of the 4 figures, including the 2 Sith Troopers, or at least the Jet Troopers, and then we'll move it to the normal 1 Sith Trooper that we get, and then we'll move to the First Order Officer, and then towards the end of the video, we'll take a look at the main build, which is, of course, the Snowspeeder. So let's go ahead and start with the First Order Officer. So this is, technically speaking, according to the storyline, not exactly a First Order Officer, but very similar with the red line going down the center of the torso there. And speaking of, you can see there in the center there with some of my ugly fingerprints, you do have some very nice, crisp high quality printing there that does carry around and correspond to the back of the torso. Once again, you can see there with the lines going down, which are very finely printed. And then all of these figures do get stud shooters, this one being a little bit modified with a little bit of our little extinguisher piece there on the top, molded in black. And then as usual, these are just stud shooters, and mind you, you do get spare pieces, or at least spare studs for all of the blasters to equate for all 4, and you also get an extra stud, so nice of LEGO to include those because studs are very easy to lose due to their size. And then as for the figure, once again, when it comes to printing, as you can see there on the face, the printing is very high quality and very nicely done. And then same goes for the little commander pack here, or the officer cap, I guess you could say, with the very finely printed print there right in the center. Very small, but still very nice that they pay that a close attention when it comes to detail. But nonetheless, the arms and legs don't have any printing. And then as for the 2 Sith Jet Troopers, these are both identical, but you do have some very, very nice detailing. Like, I'll go ahead and take a look at one here. So you can see this minifigure in particular has some very nice printing here on the front of the torso. Once again, very high quality and crisp with no noticeable smudging or anything of that sort. And then on the back, you do get a jetpack for both of the Sith Jet Troopers, but when you actually remove the little the head here, which does have the normal clone printing there, which I'll show in just a moment, you do have some corresponding printing under there that does correspond to the front of the torso, as you can see there on the back, but we do actually get a separate print for a 1x1 tile that clips onto the jetpack, which is very nice. Once again, the attention to detail is just absolutely astounding. And then as for the helmet, you can see here that we have a bunch of fine printing here going down to the front there, and then also in front right here with a bunch of very small details that are very nicely done both on the molding and the printing. And then as I'd said earlier, all these figures do have normal stud shooters, but the troopers only get the normal ones, whereas the officer gets the slightly modified one. And then as for all the faces, we do just get the simple clone face. Like you can see here, the other one had the same head. But anyway, moving those 2 figures out of the way, now we can take a look at the one singular normal Sith Trooper that we get, which is my personal favorite because this, I believe, is the same mold that LEGO actually introduced a couple of years back for the First Order version of the Stormtroopers, and also modified once again for the new version of the Stormtrooper helmet, and was also used for the Shadow Troopers, mind you. But nonetheless, this is an absolutely fabulous figure, which once again has the stud shooter that's not modified, and some very fine detailing there on the front of the torso, once again with the fingerprints. My apologies for that. And then we do get the printing on all of the troopers that do carry around down to the waist as well as the legs, although as I mentioned earlier, the officer does not have any printing, but all the troopers have the same printing for the legs. But this Sith Trooper in particular does have slightly different printing from the Sith Jet Troopers. As you can see there, it is slightly different on the front, and then once again corresponding high quality and very crisp, nice looking printing that corresponds to the front on the back of the torso there. And just like all of the other figures, no printing on the arms or the legs. And then as for the helmet, once again, we have some very nice printing there running down. And then we have a very nice menacing looking printing there in the center. Although let's just hope this armor is a little bit stronger than the normal Stormtrooper armor, which is practically made out of plastic and very weak. But nonetheless, my favorite color is red, so I might be a little bit biased towards these because I think that these figures are absolutely fabulous looking. And then moving to the Snowspeeder here, we have a bunch of nice building techniques going on here. Very simple, which is referenced with the age recommendation, which mind you is only 6 years in this set in particular. But we have some very nice detailing for the price as well as the age recommendation taking into consideration here. So it can actually store the figures, so you can actually store the gun for any of the stud shooters, but in particular, LEGO is implying that you store the modified version up here because it has that little handle on the back that you could use as a handle, so you could use this as a stock, as well as a little handle to actually maneuver this from right to left, as well as a little bit of a up and down movement in case you want to shoot down anything in the sky, which is very unlikely, but you still can. And then since these are stud shooters, I'll go ahead and fire one off once, probably lose the stud, but You can see there they fire off the stud just like usual, and then to reinstall the stud, you just simply sort of friction fit it into the front there, and it sort of primes that little piece that you press down with your finger, for those of you that don't know how the stud shooters work. And then we have our engines off to the side here with some see-through cylinder pieces, which are just 2x2s, and then on the back we have some vents as well as some building techniques here in the middle for the figures. Here is presumably the absolutely tiny little sort of bridge or cockpit, whatever you want to call it. And then, as I said, we have that spot in the front where you can have a figure sort of manning the little gun there, and then some more vents and some jumpers are placed sort of randomly around the build. And then on the bottom we do have some smoothed off pieces so that you can kind of push this around. Although if you are looking to keep this in relatively good condition, I wouldn't recommend sort of sliding this anywhere that has a lot of dirt, because you will scuff these pieces on the bottom. But nonetheless, this is recommended for younger ages, so I don't suspect that is going to be much of a problem. But anyway, with that being said, there is the Joel Hermisher review of LEGO Star Wars Set 75-266, the Sith Troopers Battle Pack with 105 pieces, recommended for ages 6 and up. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video,